Well, just to make sure you're on your toes, this isn't a Friday for the Friday accountability call. It's actually a Saturday, but there is a good reason. Paul was at the Vision Board deal last night, and we didn't kind of get to be able to talk until very late. So we decided just to have the call this morning. I'm sitting here with my cup of coffee. As much as I am a tea-drinking British person, the morning is a cup of joe deal. I think I've been here obviously long enough to realise that a nice cup of joe in the morning does a better job than a nice cup of tea. But nothing like a nice cup of tea about 3 in the afternoon and 1 in the evening. Anyway, moving on. Here I'm just rambling off again like I do. But first of all, let's bring on senior consultant Paul Mitchell on the line. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great, and I couldn't agree more. A nice hot cup of English breakfast tea or Earl Grey really will start my morning right. I'm not a coffee drinker, so if I'm drinking something hot, it's going to be chocolate or tea.
Okay. Well, as I say, for some reason, maybe it's something to do with being here for 20 years, I have switched to a cup of coffee in the morning rather than a cup of tea. So, maybe we're switching roles. Maybe you're going English and I'm going American. Who knows?
Well, I doubt I'll get as far English as you've gotten American.
Yes, that's the truth. You probably have to be over there quite a lot longer. But
yeah,
how was the deal last night? How was the Vision Board over at in McKinney last night?
It was great fun. Doug Parker and Jenny Leclerc did a wonderful job organizing this, and there were balloons everywhere. It was very festive. It was very much a party. There was pizza. People brought desserts. There were soft drinks. We did a short, 35-minute presentation. Jenny did the open and the company. I did the compensation plan, and Doug did the close. Peter Luda was there. He spoke to the group as we were kicking off the Vision Board building. And Peter Luda is a wonderful speaker. He's the stories he tells and the wisdom he's drawn from his life story are just really awesome to hear. And so it was a really good time. We had, I want to say 20, 25, maybe even 30 people there in both the presentation room and the break room next door, just putting together posters. There was a huge stack of magazines. I'd brought a large folder of things I'd printed off on my computer. Other people had done the same thing. There was plenty of supplies, and a whole bunch of people made some pretty awesome vision boards.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I remember the one I went to prior to that. I wasn't able to make the one last night. I had a home meeting myself, which is the only excuse I would have had to not be able to get there. I was at the one before with a similar attendance, and very popular, and it's a great atmosphere. You think, oh, really, I'm going to go kind of, scrapbooking with a bunch of girls. No offense, nothing. It's kind of the preconceived idea of what we think it's going to be, but it actually turns out to be so much more than that. So, and obviously to listen to the number one income earner up there in Illinois obviously doesn't do any harm either. So good deal. All right. So there you go. So for the next Vision Board party, chaps, make sure you're there. It's a wonderful exercise. At the end of the day, in our business, we've got to keep our eye on the goal. We get plenty of people trying to distract us from that goal, and any type of activity, especially something like a Vision Board, certainly gives us the opportunity to get back on track every day. But good deal. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, Paul. I appreciate it. So let's jump straight on in and get on with our Friday night accountability call on Saturday morning.
All right. Well, to be perfectly honest, I didn't get anything done yesterday, but I've gotten a bunch. But I've gotten a bunch done this morning. So.
Okay.
So I called back 2 of the people I've previously been leaving messages with, and left messages with them again. I will be haranguing them a little bit more, and then I'm probably going to purge them. But these are 2 that one of them Siobhan texted me during the week and apologized for not catching my 2 previous calls. So I'm optimistic that she's still willing to talk to me, and I just haven't caught her at the right moment. And then Paul, the fellow that I've already seen his electric bill, I know he's very busy, and I just gotta nail him down on a time. So I left them both messages, and then I called Miguel. Now Miguel, don't think I told you this before. He's really been on my chicken list. I don't know why. He's always a sweetheart of a guy. He's always very friendly. He's always gives me the time of day. But when I worked with him on the fish fry, I was always nervous about calling him. And so I called him this morning because he was on my list and I was going to have to talk to you. I caught him. He was drinking coffee after with breakfast and getting ready for his day, and he agreed to come see the presentation. He's bringing his wife. We're gonna meet at a place near the church at 4:00 this afternoon. So I'm very excited. This is somebody that I've been thinking I'd love to get him into Ambit literally for years. And because of this call, I finally got up the courage to write an invitation, and call him.
Well, if that is an indication of how effective a methodology like this is, I don't know what is. Again, I'm not claiming that the purge call is anything particularly new. It's just something that this is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It's something that we're enforcing, we're introducing, and we're kind of, what we do on the purge call is nothing different than any job. We turn up and we have a boss to answer to. And it's not a boss as in someone above you, but just someone for your accountability to. And because you do it, because you go to work, because you have to report to your boss, you do what has to be done. And that's all you did with Miguel. And look at that for a result. That's fantastic.
And that's
really,
exactly
really good.
Right. This is something I chose to do because I knew it would help me impose self-discipline on myself. And that's exactly been the result. And here's one more thing. As I sat down to make this call, I found myself thinking, what on earth am I going to say to this guy? And then I remembered, I've written this down already. I already answered that question. I've got it right here. And so when I'm talking to Miguel, and he's asking me, well, what kind of thing is it? And I'm like, I just stuck to my script. And he said, well, what is it? Is it sales? I'm like, it's a very visual presentation. I really don't want to go nowhere over the phone. He said, well, I can't do sales. I said, well, it's not sales. I can't do sales either. And just that worked to get him to agree to a meeting this afternoon.
Let me ask you a question. Did you mention that you were in a hurry?
I did mention that I was in a hurry, yes.
Okay, because that is your obviously the knee-jerk way of getting out of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you have good posture. You have you're experienced. You've been in the business for 4 years, and you know how to respond to someone who says, well, what is it? For those of you who are on the call who maybe don't have the same posture, you're talking to someone on a chicken list and this type of thing, the reason for us being in a hurry is exactly what just happened to Paul with Miguel when he says, well, what is it? Is it sales? Blah, blah, blah. There's no better way to get out of that being dragged into a knockdown a fist fight of a presentation, where especially when you're not very experienced in the business, than saying, listen, I've got to go. My manager's literally looking at me right now. I've got to get back into the office, and that's why I wanted to arrange a time this afternoon for us to get together so we won't get interrupted. It's just a lovely way of disarming the question, of keeping you out of harm's way, of being barraged with what is it, and people prejudging based on what you're saying. So that's obviously a great way. Paul, you did a great way of getting out of it with some nice posture. It's very much a visual presentation. We've been taught that pretty much since I've been in the business, and I'm sure it was around before I was in. This is 99% visual. It's very hard to explain over the phone, and then again intentionally deflect to the what time can we get together. So yeah, great job. Go ahead.
And then he asked me my favorite question, which was, is it just me you want to talk to, or do you want to talk to me and my wife? I'm like, I'd love for your wife to come and see this, because I've had so many times when I had one spouse ready to jump and the other one who hadn't seen the presentation. But I got to go talk to my wife. I got to go talk to my husband. The other spouse who hadn't seen the presentation ended up killing it. And so I'm delighted to go to both of them.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Obviously, we love them to both to be there. And what's also interesting about that is he obviously knows that there's some kind of decision he needs to make this afternoon, and he's still coming. And so obviously Miguel's, a lot of people, and this is really strange to me, as soon as one starts talking to someone about something that's maybe slightly out of their comfort zone, it's like you've just stolen their first child. It's a great. Sometimes people are very, very aggressive. In fact, you had that during at the beginning of the week. You may as well have literally just thrown coffee all over them for the question you asked. It's very interesting that sometimes people are so and I'm going to use this word, and again, it's the wrong word. Probably I need some more coffee, but are so insecure in their ability to say no to something that they'll fight you straight away. You know, you say, hey, got something I want you to take a look at. Oh, no. I remember this happened with one of my son's girlfriend's mums. We were having a coffee. We were talking about the kids, and we were having a coffee, and I was mentioning about, my business. And she said, oh, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. I'm like, no, you're telling me you're a teacher, and I was telling you I was in the energy business, and she knew I was in Ambit because of my son, and I may as well literally have thrown coffee over her. She was so aggressively turning me off, what that is they feel that people are going to be like those network marketers of yesteryear who were a little bit aggressive in the way that they try to sell. But I don't care. If someone says to me, hey, I want you to take a look at something, most of the time I'll say yes. Even if it's another network marketing company, I will look. For two reasons. Number one, if you want change, be the change. So if I want people to be open, then I'm going to be open. But secondly, you never know what you're going to learn. I know I'm unrecruitable. You're not going to recruit me. So I'm, no matter how much pressure, you put on me, I'm not going to say yes to a business I don't want to do, but I would like to know. I'd like to find out about it. I've been to some presentations of other network marketing companies, some product-based, and there's something I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Really impressed with the way they did that business presentation, I'm really impressed with that. And they say, oh, well, great, so is this your cup of tea? No, not really for me. I already have a network marketing company I'm very happy with. Very, very civil, very normal, very organized. And you'll have a conversation with Miguel this afternoon, who's going to come in with his eyes wide open, knowing you're going to be offering him something, and knowing and self-secured enough that he's able to say, no, it's not really our cup of tea, or, wow, this looks really great. What do you think, sweetheart? And as he looks to his wife, and all of a sudden they're in the business. I don't know. I mean, I know you experienced that at the beginning of the week, but do I speak sooth, sir?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, excuse me, I was just taking a sip of my coffee. But that's great. Good job on that. And so a couple of things, really, just as summarizing on the call. First of all, thank you for your vulnerability, for letting me know you didn't do anything yesterday. Even though I'm your accountability partner and we talk about, there being a boss type of environment, we only mention that because we want people to give their Ambit business the same respect as they give to their job. But I'm not your boss. I'm your kind of your buddy, your accountability partner, you're someone to help, someone to make sure you get done what you need to get done. And you certainly were not afraid to say to me, hey, I didn't get anything done yesterday, but you knew you had to be accountable for it, and so you got it done this morning.
Actually, I was afraid. I seriously considered lying to you and telling you that I did those calls yesterday. And you'd never have known.
The thing is, Paul, I know you well enough, and I know how you can wield a sword. The last thing is of you being afraid of me. But what you may be concerned to do is to disappoint, and especially not only me, but also the people on the call. So whatever it is that gets you to do the calls is what's important. But here's the lesson from it: is sometimes you have a day when you can't get done what you need to get done, and that's normal. It's so accountability partners who are the ones who are receiving the call, don't be too hard on your folks if they can't get stuff done on a particular day. We all have life get in the way, but what we do need to do is to make sure we get back on the horse as quickly as possible and make up for it. And that's exactly what you did this morning, Paul.
Exactly.
And not, that's the point, is that the accountability just makes sure it gets done at some point, and look at the result. You've got Siobhan who's texted you back a couple of times. Paul, it's already warm because you've seen his bill. And Miguel, you have an appointment. Are you going to see him this afternoon?
Yes.
Fantastic. You could. He sounds very strong. Potentially, that would be really, really awesome. So, I couldn't. That's exactly how I want these accountability calls to go. Is to show the vulnerability if things don't always go right. And we've had a couple of calls like that this week. For those of you who are listening in, if you haven't heard them, listen back to the recordings on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. In fact, the one on Monday was pretty shocking, that Paul had, someone give him a flat-out, like I was telling about my son's girlfriend's mum, blatant, almost rude no, and the result and how it can affect you as a strong SC or indeed a strong Easy. I was SC when my girlfriend's, my son's girlfriend's mom. Yeah, hit me straight between the eyes too, because I was not, using the invite. It may or may not be your thing, and it wasn't even an invite. I was just mentioning what I was doing. But when she came back so aggressively, it hurts. And it can stop you, and that's why these accountability calls are so good, because they help you get back on the horse really quickly. So please guys, don't just listen to these calls. Actually, get into the activity of these calls, because the accountability really does help you. It's not there to to check up on you. It's there to help you. So good deal, my friend. Did you have anything to add to your day's activity? We can talk, obviously, summarize about the week on tomorrow on the Sunday call, but anything else to add for this morning's activities?
So that I've still got 4 people of my original 10 that I haven't successfully reached, and I'm going to continue trying to reach them today and tomorrow afternoon. And so hopefully I'll have a little more success to report on Sunday evening.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, we want to make sure that we get through our 10 so that we can purge our list. Hence the reason why it's called a purge call, is we want to purge. We can only purge if we've actually managed to reach someone, or through 4 calls not get through to them. That's kind of what we want to try and get to if we can. So great. So tomorrow night, obviously 8 o'clock, I know you'll be on the call, Paul. Obviously I will be, and being emceed by the lovely Michelle Schaefer, who's still up in New York nursing her dad, who's just actually had a quadruple bypass. So, and he's fighting fit and doing well. Yeah, he's an 80-year-old guy as well. Yes, absolutely. 80 years old, quadruple bypass, and he's already sitting up and everything. So, our best wishes to him, of course. And I'll see you on the call tomorrow night, Paul.
All right. Take care.
Fantastic. Thanks, man. See you soon.